I think I finally found a camera case that fits my go-to camera equipment without being super expensive. So let's take a look. Inside, there is a super nice compartment, like a main compartment here, where my Canon 6D, yes, it's a Mark I. This is an old school setup, but I just absolutely love it. This little prime lens can live on the body and still fit in this case with no problem, with the old school L series 24 to 105 kit lens. If you're familiar with this lens, you know that it's pretty beefy, and both of these items still fit in here no problem. Now the cool thing about this is I know that some of you guys are going to have a different setup than this. I know this is a very old setup. Some of you guys might have a mirrorless setup. You might have a Sony A7. You might have some other mirrorless setup, micro four thirds. There's all sorts of options out there. And if you have a camera body that is just a little bit smaller than what this big DSLR is, you can still make this work pretty simply by taking this divider, pulling it out, scooting it to the left or to the right, or just wherever you need it to fit to really dial in the correct dimensions for your specific setup. Now, one thing to note is even though this is a pretty beefy lens, it's still not as big as, let's say, a massive telephoto lens. So if you've got something that's much taller than the 24 to 105, you know, I've only got maybe an inch of space in there between the end of the lens, a filter, a cap, and then the back of this case. It's only about an inch there. You know, I just don't know what kind of stuff you're shooting, but in my situation, this is actually the perfect little case. Now, right here on this flap, you're also going to have these cool little pockets. You could probably store some backup batteries in here. The elastic on these is nice and tight, so it doesn't feel like the batteries will just fly out and go all over the place. So I think that's pretty cool. And then up on the top here, on the lid, you've got a zippered mesh compartment, and this is actually pretty deep. You can fit a charger in here. You could probably fit some tripod mounts. Additional SD cards will fit in here no problem. If you got an SD card case, that'll fit right in here. If you've got a big beefy camera strap that's like a quick disconnect version, that'll fit up here. All sorts of stuff will fit in this case. And then you've also got, it's actually a nice quality carrying strap. And so if you want to run that carrying strap, it's super easy to take on and off. It's got these cool little metal clips, and basically all you're going to do is clip them on like that. Of course, I did it backwards, but that's okay. And then you're going to clip it on the other side, and it's adjustable too, so it doesn't really matter how tall you are or how low or high you want this to hang. You can adjust that for whatever height you need. But in general, I feel like it's actually a pretty nice setup, and I am super excited about this because I've been using a camera bag. Camera bags are cool. The only problem is they don't really protect the components very well, and they're not super protective against like dust and things like that. And so I was really happy to get something like this that had a little bit of form to it without being a true hard case. Hard cases are just too bulky, and I wanted something like this that would just give a little bit more protection for the camera against, you know, drops, small falls, or stacking things on top of it. If you end up with one of these cases, I hope you enjoyed it as much as I have. So far, I've been really impressed with it. And then if you want to buy one of these, I'm going to put a link in the description or the pinned comment so you can check it out, check the price. But this really was the most affordable option that I could find, and I was genuinely impressed with the overall form factor of it once I finally got it in hand.